Some journeys begin with a single chair, and nothing is ever the same again.
Episode 26, The Face in the Mirror. Jimmy entered the room with slower steps this time, not tired but distant. He held a coffee in one hand, his phone in the other, yet his fingers never moved across the screen. His eyes were fixed in emptiness, as if he had brought with him the image he'd seen that morning. When he sat down, he placed the coffee on the table, but his fingers lingered in the air, as if still searching for the warmth of the cup.
You look a little distracted today, Jimmy. What's on your mind?
It happened on my way here. Something very simple. But it made me think. I stopped by the café near the office this morning. While waiting for my order, I leaned against the glass. Outside, people rushed down the street. Inside, soft music played. Then my eyes caught the window, and I saw my reflection. A bag on my shoulder, coffee in hand, a serious look on my face. But that face didn't feel like mine. It felt like someone else's face.
What made you feel that way?
I don't know. Maybe my eyes. Because the face looked familiar, but the gaze was foreign. Blank. Empty. A little cold. And I asked myself, who is this man? Is it me or the person I'm expected to be?
As Jimmy spoke, his gaze fixed on a point in the room, as if he were still standing in that café, leaning against the glass, staring into his own eyes.
And did you find an answer to that question?
Actually, two answers. One side of me said, this is the successful, proper Jimmy everyone trusts. This is you. But the other side whispered, no, this is just the shell you show the world. Inside, there's someone else entirely. And being stuck between those two is exhausting.
That's a very human conflict, Jimmy. Sometimes there's a huge gap between the image we present and the identity we feel inside. And as that gap grows, we become strangers to ourselves. Where do you feel the greatest distance?
In the eyes, I think. From the outside, I look strong. My title, my success, my suit. But my eyes, they're filled with emptiness. When I look in the mirror, I don't see myself. I see the role placed on me.
Jimmy's voice cracked. His hand reached toward the coffee cup but didn't touch it, as if what he was really searching for wasn't the warmth of the coffee, but the warmth inside himself.
That moment this morning was important because you said you've only ever looked in mirrors to fix your tie, to check your hair. But today, you looked longer, and for the first time, you saw yourself. That's not something to dismiss lightly.
Yes. Today, for the first time, I didn't look because I had to. I looked because I was curious. And in that look, I realized I don't know myself. It was shocking. Because living in the same body for years, yet not seeing yourself, it makes you wonder, whose life am I really living?
And today, you had the courage to ask that question out loud. If you could change one thing in that reflection, what would it be?
My eyes. I'd want them to look warm, curious, alive. But I think years of thinking only about how I should look made me forget how I should feel.
That's such an important awareness. Maybe the reflection is telling you, rebuild me. Where do you think that rebuilding should begin?
By staying. By not running, not rushing. Just staying in front of the mirror. Because I've been running for years, after success, after titles, after approval. But I never stopped long enough to look into my own eyes. Maybe the first step is simply to look.
Jimmy's voice was calm now, but steady, the kind of steadiness that comes from someone who no longer wants to surrender to emptiness.
Looking at ourselves often requires more courage than how we appear to others, because our eyes cut through masks. Today, Jimmy, you pulled the mask back just a little, and maybe, for the first time, your own eyes whispered something back to you.
Yes. And maybe, for the first time, I want to hear that whisper. Because this time, it might actually belong to me.
At the end of the session, Jimmy picked up his coffee again, but he didn't leave right away. He looked out the window, at the people rushing by, then back at his own reflection. The expression on his face was neither quite a smile nor a frown. It was more like the first lines of a new story. And this time, he was determined to write those lines with his own hand.
These stories are fictional, but the emotions they stir might be real. See you in the next one.